Hi guys. So human nature is a distinct set of characteristics that we tend to associate with, if not all, most human beings naturally. It is in our human nature to put ourselves first, and generally speaking, we're selfish in most aspects of our lives. Realizing this led me to the epiphany that our greatest drive and motivation is our own selfishness. We're most passionate about the things that we experience firsthand. So this being said, I want to share an issue that a lot of people don't think pertains to them, but actually has great potential to be detrimental to all of our lives. And that is the issue of commercial and overfishing of sharks, leading them closer and closer to extinction. So we've been so caught up with all the negative stigma around sharks, rather than the actual scientific proof that these cartilaginous fishes are way more valuable alive than dead. Sharks have been on this earth for more than 400 million years, significantly longer than even the dinosaurs. They have survived through 5 major extinctions that wiped out majority of life on Earth. All of this, and we have almost managed to wipe them out within the last century or so. The top contributors to the dwindling shark population is commercial fishing, and under that you have shark finning, bycatching, long lines, etc. We are the #1 reason they're going extinct, but they're not even close to the top of the list of dangers to us. I mean, more deaths are caused every year by coconuts falling on our heads, by dogs. Vending machines kill 10 times more people every year than sharks do. So thank you, Brentwood, for being smart enough to keep them off of our campus. Mostly. Privet. So, you see how we overestimate the danger of sharks so much. You probably didn't know that on average, only 1 shark attack every 2 years is fatal to humans, whereas by the time I finished this speech, 1,834 sharks would have been killed by humans alone. So where are we getting this false information? Why are we so afraid of sharks that we can't even advocate for them? The main stigma comes from the media. Iconic shows and movies such as the Jaws franchise, Big Blue Sea, Shark Week, although entertaining, leaves sharks in a very negative light and portrays them in a way that is utterly terrifying and completely false. You see, we are being left uneducated and afraid by the media, which is why I'm here to hopefully destigmatize sharks, and I'm going to start doing that by debunking a big myth about them, which is that they always want to eat humans. Sharks are curious and dominant creatures of the ocean, and since they don't have limbs, their way of exploring an object or organism is to bite it. These are called test bites, and they're simply exploratory. Now, I understand that most of us probably wouldn't be preferred to get bit by a shark, but we have to realize that they don't have bad intentions. And you see how in the majority of shark attacks, the victims do survive because the sharks will take 1 bite and leave. This is because sharks are more accustomed to the higher fat content in fish's blood than in ours. So take a seat, honey, because you're definitely not as appetizing as you think. So we've never lived in a world without these creatures, and I'm going to hope that we don't have to, because the future that professionals and researchers predict are grim. Now, we've talked about the problem, let's talk about the effects. Sharks have a very intricate interbalance with their ecosystem. They are the top of the food chain, the Bud Patel of the sea. So, sharks are apex predators, meaning they control pretty much all oceanic population under them. Let's say that sharks go extinct in a certain area. Certain types of species will begin to reproduce without a predator to limit their reproduction. They will begin to eat their prey, most likely to extinction, at least in that area. And without smaller fish to eat all the algae, you end up with oceans that look like this. So now not only do you have an ocean that's messed up underneath, but on the surface as well. Another thing that sharks do is they play a big role in the oceanic natural selection. So they tend to eat weak, sick, or old fish, leaving a much stronger gene pool for them to reproduce in. A lot of reef sharks also feed on dead carcasses at the bottom of the ocean, and this all helps keep diseases from breaking out within the fish population and ultimately into humans once we ingest them. Lastly, researchers also look at sharks and their patterns to predict hurricanes and other natural disasters. So there's definitely not a shortage of ways that we benefit from sharks, at least environmentally. But you know what? Let's say you don't live anywhere near the water. You don't care about the ocean. Why should you take action for the sharks? Well, you should, because whether you live on a beach in Hawaii or in the middle of Manitoba, sharks are going to affect the economy, and the economy is going to affect you. So I want to talk to you guys about 3 main industries that sharks play a big role in, and the first one is the shark cartilage industry. There's been a huge rise in demand for shark cartilage because it is believed to cure a lot of sicknesses, including cancer. However, this is not true. There is no scientific proof that links shark cartilage with cancer treatment. The second industry I want to talk to you guys about is probably one of the bigger ones and the one that you guys are probably most familiar with, which is shark finning. Shark finning is a huge industry, reeling in, literally, billions of dollars every year. However, sharks are slow-growing creatures, and they wait until they're about 25 before they reproduce. And because of that, we are slaughtering them to the brink of extinction. And I say slaughter because that's really what it is. Take a look at this video. So you can see how the way that fishermen fin sharks, it's really cruel. You saw them cut off their fins and throw the sharks back in the water, and I think something that a lot of people already know is that these sharks that are being thrown back in the water, those sharks that you saw at the bottom of the sea, most of them are still alive. They're suffocating and they can't move, but they are still alive. So that's definitely really sad. But not only is that callous, it is simply a waste, because on average, during shark finning, only about 10% of the shark is actually used. So now you have these commercial boats coming into local waters, threatening the traditional sustainable fisheries and taking away the jobs of countless people who depend on sustainable shark fishing for livelihood and staple meats. But you're probably wondering why I'm defending these fisheries. The difference between the two is one fishes sharks at a rate that allows them to keep up with steady population growth, whereas the other fishes them in ways that are not only cruel and a waste, but in ways that are mostly illegal and in ways that don't allow the shark population to keep up. Now, the last industry I want to talk to you guys about is the ecotourism industry. So with ecotourism is the tourism of natural, exotic environments, and sharks play a really big role in this. A shark in Bahamas, alive, is worth about $250,000, whereas they're only worth about $150 when caught by a fisherman. A shark in Sabah, Malaysia, is worth about $815 alive, whereas compared to the price of only $100 when it's caught by a fisherman. And on average, a whale shark can bring in about $2 million over its lifetime in ecotourism. So you see, you have all of this research linking sharks to tourism and showing how they are way more valuable to us alive than dead. We live on this tiny blue marble of a world, right? The only home that we've ever known. If we don't start acting in a positive way, it's going to come back to bite us in the butt. This issue may seem small to you right now, and your contribution may seem small, but little things are going to add up to make a really big difference. So let's start by saving the sharks. What can you do to help the sharks? Well, you can donate online, you can look up ways to volunteer, but most importantly, you can speak out about this issue, and you can educate yourself and the others around you on the truth about sharks, because it's time that we destigmatize them. A wise man, Paul Watson, once said, "What we're here to do is to rock the boat, to make people think and to make some noise." So I think we've all learned our lesson today. Stay away from vending machines. No, but I really hope I opened your eyes on this issue, and I hope I've inspired you to hopefully do something, because I do think that it's time that we give sharks a chance. So shellfish or not, you gotta save the sharks. Thank you.